Hi, I'm Maria. And what do you currently do right now? Like, what field do you work in? And can you go a little bit into your job?
Yeah. So I am a senior social media manager at a marketing and branding agency called King and Partners. We're based in New York primarily, but also Los Angeles and Miami. And I do all things social media for brands, and for specific clients as well, and influencer marketing.
That's great. So, working in social media, and you've worked in social media basically for years now. Have you seen on your end, because you're running these accounts essentially, have you seen people who have bullied the brands that you were working for or just said like very negative comments? And have you experienced that on social media?
Yeah, I think there's like definitely layers. I think for brands, it's less bullying. I think so on the brand side, I would say it's like two parts. There's like, known individuals, right? Whether that's
Mhm.
like celebrities or influencers, and then there's brands. On the brand side, I would just say people are very relentless in just like exposing the truth on social media. But in a way, I guess they do start bullying brands. I do think like, if a brand has poor customer service or they don't have good values or what have you, I think in a way it's great because people can like really transparently bring that to light. And I think brands have to be like held at a higher level of accountability for things. But then on the other end, like being in house at a brand and seeing like, the strides we take internally to make sure like customer service processes are good and like we're doing the right thing and like maybe the founder of the company like actually does care about certain things and has certain values, people will still pick it apart. And I think that's really tough because, there are people like being that person behind the brand, like trying to move things forward and escalate issues for customers. That's crappy. And, it's tough when you're trying to fix things internally and people are just kind of vultures in the sense of, that they're always looking for things. And then you have kind of like the internet truth teller accounts like Diet Prada and like I can't think of any others off the top of my head, but these in a way it's like a really cool that it's like a beacon of truth and like, they're just trying to like expose like injustices, but then also it's unfortunate for brands that are trying to do the right thing. And then I think you have like, known individuals, right? And like celebrities and thought leaders and influencers. And yeah, I mean, the comments are kind of terrifying. I mean, we all see them, right? It's like, with breakups and decisions they make and their politics and, a lot of celebrities and models are commenting on like world events and international events. So yeah, I think people are again trying to just like make sure brands and like influencers and known people are authentic and doing the right thing, but then they're like behind a screen, so they're saying like really horrible things sometimes that you know I don't think they would ever say in real life. So that's kind of scary and interesting.
Yes, I totally agree. So do you think that these influencers, or more so influencers, but like also brands, do you think they have a responsibility to make sure they are posting more positive and bringing positive things and bringing awareness to these issues like anti-bullying or bullying, and then helping create a better space for people on social media in general?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all like need to be a part of the conversation in some way, right? Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, like even on my own personal social media, like I very rarely will enter. into a conversation about something that I can't add meaningful value into.
Yeah.
And I think brands and influencers and all of us should just like be thoughtful. I do think brands have a responsibility to speak out about things that matter, but being a part of the conversation in a relevant way. Like, I
Mhm.
think it's like, even when we just think about like our own lives, like I would never speak to something I don't know much about
Right.
and act as a, I don't know, like act as like a person that is like an expert in that.
Right.
So yeah, but I think like, promoting positivity in general, like whatever that can be, that's always great. But yeah, just being like thoughtful and understanding like, you know, a place that makes sense in the conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So, do you view social media as a positive space or do you view it as both? Like, I personally have experienced really positive things from it, but also really negative things from it. Still love it and think it can do great things. But I want to hear your view on that as well, because a lot of people have negative connotations towards social media.
Yeah, I mean, I think you put it really well. Like, I kind of feel the same way. I think it's funny, like working in social media, and to your point, like people have a lot of really strong views on social media. And a lot of my friends like are like, yeah, I won't be on Instagram for months, or I'll like deactivate it, or like it's really, negative for my mental health, which, I think it's all how we choose to put our view on things. um and again, like if it's a specific person or an influencer that, or a brand even, that you're like finding, when you see the content you react in a negative way, it's harmful to your mental health, like it's not adding anything for you, then yeah, of course you just shouldn't engage with that content, as you would with, a person or a thing in your life. But
Yeah.
I think it's also just like framing, at the end of the day, a lot of social media, as you know, is like smoke and mirrors, and it's branding, and it's, you wouldn't see a billboard on Sunset Boulevard and think like, oh, this is like, an untouched image, or like,
Yeah.
image of a model on a magazine. So I think it's just, again, like refocusing your perception and like understanding the positives and the negatives and looking at it like for what it is.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I don't know.
I totally agree. I totally get that. And I feel like everybody has their different perspective on it,
Mhm.
um, which it's just really interesting. And I want to be a part of that change one day to help create a more positive space that people can come for resources and just to like kind of get that relief. Cause I think social media is a way for us to like let go, but also it can like hurt us mentally too with everything that we're seeing. So I think that was a great way that you put it.
Yeah.
So do you now kind of moving on to the platform? So I know you work in Instagram a ton, and TikTok is up and coming as well. Do you think these platforms have a responsibility to filter out those negative comments? And I know free speech kind of comes into play in this point, but if somebody's being cyberbullied, do you think the platforms should have ways to combat that?
Yeah, and I think I think to your point, I'm primarily in Instagram. We do have clients that want to launch TikToks, and I don't really know the granularity of what TikTok is doing specifically to combat bullying, but I think Instagram, you know, being able to mute people, being able to pin comments and hide comments, and whatever that is, like, I know certain public figures, like certain celebrities only allow people that follow them to comment, and like a lot of them have like spoken out about their mental health and how it affects them to see like hundreds of thousands of people, commenting and saying things about their life that they don't know them and they don't understand it. So I do think those are all positive things. And yeah, I mean, I think it's cheesy, but with like great power comes great responsibility. I mean, of course, like I think
Yeah.
these platforms, I mean, I don't think it's their absolute and full and total responsibility to mitigate every situation, but like in an overall, big picture view, yeah, like they have to think about that because bullying is so real and in so many different forms, and people do it in person, and it's so much easier for people to do it online because you know it's so much of what people say on the internet they would generally never say to someone in real life.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's really important for them to always take that into consideration with anything they do. So
Yeah, I agree. And with TikTok, they're like behind with those features that Instagram has. So I think they are pinning comments now and they're pinning videos, but they should have that mute ability, and because then we can ultimately control what we want to see and what we not want to see to not have those people coming at us constantly. Um,
yeah, and I think to your point, like free speech, yes, and totally. Um, but if it's kind of like I look at like your Instagram page or your TikTok profile is like, you're like a business owner and that's like your window front. Like,
right.
you own it and you should be able to like protect and shield yourself in some way. So,
Right.
I think there's like a happy medium to everything. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I love that. But so if you could have any request of these platforms to do things that would help continue and further combating bullying, would you have anything that you could think of that you would like to see these platforms to do?
Yeah, I would just say like when platforms are thinking about creators and just like maybe being more a part of the conversation, and I don't know what this looks like, but so many people I know just still look at social as like they're seeing these like Instagram models and this like this highlight reel for brands, right? Or
Mm,
people or celebrities or influencers, and at the end of the day, it's all fabricated to a point, right? Like
right,
everything is marketing, everything is like a form of marketing. It's not just someone's like pure raw life or like, a brand in its like purest form.
right.
And just the platforms like, maybe partnering with creators or just like being more vocal and being a part of the conversation about mental health more. Like I think so many influencers are open about it. It makes it honestly like gives me hope and inspires me to
Yeah.
see so many more people just being like, yeah, so like, this thing happened to me or I feel this way or like da 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 da. But yeah, just like promoting that more because to me, social media is like connectivity. Like it's talking to people that live far away, it's talking to
Mhm.
broad audiences, it's international, it's, anyone can connect anywhere. It doesn't have to be this like kind of photoshopped version of reality. So
Right.
I think, yeah, maybe the platform somehow just being more a part of the conversation and, again, when it comes from like that high level and is then, put in the culture, I think it's beneficial. So yeah, something like that, partnering with them. Maybe it's, you know, I don't know, podcasts or
Yeah.
conferences or who knows, like just spaces where people can speak and talk.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And so, if you could give anyone advice who, whether they're behind the scenes at a brand or they're an influencer running their own account, and they're dealing with these hateful or hurtful comments, do you have any advice that you would give them to help them get through receiving this negativity on their platform?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's always hard, especially I think when you're early on in your career in social and you're like dealing really, really directly. I mean, I'm at a point now where I very rarely touch community management, and I'm doing more strategy now and like higher level things. But for the folks that are like managing accounts and customer service and DMs, that, at the end of the day, people are all kind of just frustrated. And I don't think their intent is to like be malicious, and they don't realize there's someone on the other side of the screen. So just
Right.
again, understanding like 9 times out of 10, if it's a brand, it's by no means personal. Like
Right.
they don't know who they're talking to. And with a celebrity or public figure, if you're an influencer, whatever, they don't really know you. And that's kind of like their personal flaw, and just to try to not take things personally.
Yes.
And just realize again, they would probably not say that to you in real life. But yeah, I don't know. Always react with kindness. It's tough, but yeah. And a lot of times too, I mean, just being like earlier on in my career and dealing with like very intense customer service stuff, and you're always, nice to people, and you're like, hey, like, I'm the social media manager, like, I'm so sorry, like, da da da. Like, generally they will respond back nice, but
Mhm.
um, just putting some humanity behind it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It can be tough, but being nice always gets you farther. So
Always be kind.
yeah.
So that's basically all I have for my questions, but do you have anything else you would like to add on the subject?
Um, yeah, just like, I don't know. I think there's so many real awesome brands that are super transparent and doing like really cool things, and, like mental health accounts and public figures just being like more transparent. Um, I know, like, I mean, Hailey Bieber's like a huge celebrity, but like has talked about like, mitigating negative responses on her account. And I think
Mhm.
has been like really transparent about how it's like affected her mental health. And that's cool. I think like
Yeah.
being, just earnest and like honest as a human and connecting with people like builds so much rapport, and it's so good to see. And there are a lot of like real people on the internet too.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I love that kind of stuff. It's good.
Yeah, me too. And that's what I really want to further with my research and what I want to do. I want to like tell transparent stories so people feel more comfortable to talk about them and then to know that they're less alone in this world. So if I'm just hoping that more celebrities and influencers do that, and hopefully we can make it more of a safe and positive space, social media.
Totally. 100%. And I mean, even like Humans of New York and like these awesome accounts that just like tell real stories about people, and
Yeah,
more of that, and creating more space for that. So
definitely.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much.